Hi everybody. I want to make a video for you guys this evening. And I really don't want to make a long video, but we'll just see where it goes. We moved a couple, I don't know, that's been a month or so ago, a little bit more than a month ago. And we're still adjusting. Sometimes it's hard to move, you guys. There's a lot of changes and stuff like that. And when you move, it's just to be expected, because we moved from where we were at. And we had been in that area for 13 years or so. I mean, we lived in the building about 10 years, but we lived just down the street a few minutes away before that for a couple years. And then we've come to a whole new area that's just really, really different because it's so small. It's like a real small little town. And that's different. That's hard to get used to in a lot of ways. But I think I'm adapting. I don't know about my roommate, but I'm getting there. And it's just kind of hard because this town has either really a lot of young people, like teenagers, or people in their early 20s, really young people. Or I don't know what the other groups are, but that's probably most of the people here are really young people. Because there's a high school and then a couple of colleges in this area. But it doesn't really matter. I mean, we're getting older, you guys. I'm almost 50. My roommate's going to be 51 in the fall. And, but it doesn't matter. You don't, regardless of how old you are, it doesn't really matter, you guys, where you live at. If it's young people, older people, it doesn't really matter. We're all just human beings trying to find our way in the world and, try to figure things out in our life. And everyone struggles with something. I was looking at Facebook tonight, and one of my cousins, I grew up with, me and my mom lived with one of her sisters, Peggy. That's not her real name, but I'll just call her Peggy. And we lived with her quite a bit growing up because my mom and I were homeless until I was about 18. I mean, here and there would be places we would stay and rent out, but it never was for more than maybe 6 months or something. It never lasted very long. It was really hard because we moved all the time. And when you move all the time like that, you don't get a chance to make friends because then you move again and again and again. And it's just really hard. And I feel sad about that. I never really got to make any really good friends. And then I'd end up just moving again. And so, that affects me because, like, the friends I have now are just people I know through church. The people that I knew in school, I don't have any, like, phone numbers or anything at all of any of the people I went to school with. That's kind of sad. Anyways, though, um, so I was looking at Facebook, and one of my cousins, one of my Aunt Peggy's, one of her kids, married this really pretty girl when they were probably around 19, 18 or 19 or so. And they have a couple of kids, and their kids are like probably 18 or 19, around that age. And anyways, I was looking at his, well, they got divorced, and why, I don't know, because it seemed like they really liked each other, but they got divorced probably about 5 or 6 years ago or so. And I just wanted to see what she was up to. I don't contact, for the most part, any of my family or anything because I know they're really busy and they just don't want to be bothered, most of them. But I was looking and I saw that she's broken her ankle really badly. I don't know what she was doing. It didn't really say, but so she has a cast on and she had to get pins in her ankle, and it was quite an ordeal, I guess, that she went through, and she still just has to like sit around and let her ankle heal and stuff, which is probably really hard for her because she's always been really active. But anyways, looking at her page and looking at my cousins, and then I was looking at my Aunt Peggy. I haven't seen any pictures of her for quite a few years, you guys. It's probably been about 6 or 7 years since I last saw her. She doesn't live super far away, maybe 30 minutes or 40 minutes away. But, like I said, she, even when I was younger, made it really clear that she didn't want to deal with other people's kids, that she just wanted to deal with her own kids. And that hurt a lot. It really did. But putting that aside for a moment, and she could have made a huge difference in my life because there was so many times, you guys, that my mom wanted to just see, most of you know that have listened to my videos. Most of you know about me growing up. Like, I've talked about that. My mom wanted to do a lot of illegal stuff for a living. She liked to shoplift and she liked to sell pills and whatever, and then so she would end up moving around a lot. And there was a lot of times growing up I would tell my Aunt Peggy, because she lived in a big house and she had a lot of extra rooms and extra space. And I'd be like, Aunt Peggy, I don't want to go with my mom anymore. She's living a crazy, destructive life. And, her going out of town and then moving every so many months and on and on. I was like, Aunt Peggy, this isn't normal. This just is not good. And she would never say, well, Shelley, just, stay here, go to school. I'll help you out. I'll help you. Maybe you can find like a part-time job, and I'll just help you. That's what your family's supposed to do. And like she would never come out and just say that to me at all. She'd say, "Well, I don't know what to tell you." And then there was just so many times that she would just be blunt. And whenever she would be talking like to other people too, I'd hear her say, "I have my own kids and I'm raising them and I don't want to raise anybody else's kids. It's not my job." I used to hear her say stuff like that all the time, and it really, really hurt my feelings a lot because I knew she was talking about me. And it's sad because you guys, I would beg her all the time. I'd say, "Aunt Peggy, please help me. My mom wants to go. Like, she wants to move to Texas, or she wants to move to Nevada, or she wants to go to Texas or California to shoplift." And like I said, I would just beg her. I'd be like, "Peggy, I don't want to do it. I want to be with her and around her. This is just destroying my life and it's destroying her life as well." And I would just beg and beg. And like I said, you guys, it just did no good. There was this one time that my mom and one of her other sisters um, went out of town to go shoplift and stuff. And they were going to be gone a couple of weeks. And so I stayed with my Aunt Peggy. And I'm so glad I did, even though it was horrible, you guys, because I was just so fed up with living like that. And my half sister, she lived there with my aunt too, because she and my aunt were really good friends. She was much older. All my sisters were way, way, way older than me, like 15 and 16 years older, much older. And so my half sister, she liked to always create a lot of drama. And she liked to try to turn people against me because she was really hateful. She's not a Christian, and neither was my aunt or really any of my family, to be honest. But so when my mom and her sister left, it was like my half sister just wanted to get even and get revenge on me so much. And like she started this huge fight. I mean, it was big, and I don't even remember what it was over. And whatever she was telling me, like she was telling me I used up all the shampoo or something stupid. And I was like, "No, I didn't. I don't even use that kind." And I don't even think I used whatever she was saying I used, because like my aunt was a hairdresser and she had a beauty salon in her garage. And like, she would have real expensive shampoo and conditioner, at least to me, it was expensive. It was like the professional kind, And so then, yeah, my sister was like trying to start a thing, trying to start something up with my aunt. And then she succeeded, and then my aunt was like mad. She came running downstairs and she was like, "You're using all the shampoo," or whatever it was. I was like, "I don't even like that kind. And I don't think I was using any of it." And then she was like mad. She was like, "You don't take out the trash and you don't, put your glasses in the dishwasher," and just one thing after another. and then she got really mad and like she had I think she had a towel or something, and then like she pushed me backwards really hard, and I almost fell into like the bathtub, and it had a little water in it because I was going to wash my hair, and I probably just was getting ready to wash my hair and go to school or something. And I almost, like I said, I almost fell in the water, and I was like, I don't even remember after that what, I think I just kind of got up and went to my bedroom, or I don't know what I did. But so see, you guys, I couldn't even have the luxury of just having a place to stay. You know what I mean? I mean, my half sister didn't have to do all of that, and neither did my aunt. They could have been kind to me. So I ended up having to sneak out of there because my aunt was so angry. And like she hid all the phones, and this was before cell phones were a thing, but she hid like all the house phones, and I had to go in the basement and ask my cousin. I was like, "Can I borrow your?" He had a phone, like a cordless phone downstairs, and I was like, "I gotta call my dad to come and get me because I can't stay here." And he was like, "Okay." So at least he was nice, and he was like, "Don't tell my mom I let you use the phone." See how evil she was? That's terrible, you guys. She was telling everyone, "Don't let her use the phone." And so then I called my dad, and um, he came and got me, and I stayed with him for like a week or two until my mom came home again. But it's like, why did I have to go through that, you guys? That's so stupid and so unnecessary, you know? And it was all because I didn't want to go with my mom. And it's like everybody there was going to make it as hard on me as possible because they wanted me to have to, I guess, be miserable and just go with her. And it's like, what for? I didn't do anything wrong. I was just a young kid, you know? And that still really hurts me a lot because you guys, I can trace everything wrong in my life way back, obviously, to being a young kid, and it's so not fair. It's like just not fair, All of my cousins and my sisters, they had a stable life, they had a place to stay, and they just had it really good. And I was like the only one, me and one other cousin, that had it really, really hard. And that other cousin, her mom, was the one that would go with my mom to shoplift and do illegal stuff. And it was like her life was so hard. But, she was lucky because there was times she would stay with our grandparents, and there was times she would stay with this lady named Dorothy that was a really good friend of her mom's, and a really nice lady. She had a nice little house, and she was just a really nice person. So she had it pretty good. And then see, I never had that. Like my mom, most of the time, just hated her mom with a passion. And so we didn't hardly ever go see my grandparents. And then, like, there was just nobody to stay with where I could just, like, stay and go to school. Like, my poor dad, he had my other sister to deal with. And that other sister was way older, and she was an alcoholic and a drug addict. And she'd get violent real easy. And, so I couldn't stay with him. And so it was like there was nobody to even live with or stay with. and it was just so sad because I think back on that time and I'm like, God, why did that have to work out like that? Because I was like so desperate to get away from that whole lifestyle of illegal stuff, because I could see it was going nowhere. And I could see that's not the way I wanted to live. And it's like no matter how hard that I wanted out of that and away from it, there was just no way out of it. And then I think I ended up with a lot of just problems and issues with like low self-esteem and like just rejection and bitterness and just a lot of stuff, and then depression and anxiety. And then I ended up, what happened finally was when I was about 18, I finally got on disability because I just had too many health issues, and I'm still on it. I'm almost 50. I've just had health issues that are just continuing. And it just makes me sad, you guys, And then my mom, when she was about 51 or 52, she had a really bad stroke. And then that's what finally made her decide to quit doing some of the stuff. And, like the shoplifting, she quit doing, thank God. And then we just got like into a Section 8 building where my dad and sister lived. And then, I lived there almost 20 some years. And then we moved a couple of times over the years. And, now we're over here in another Section 8 place. But anyway, that's what happened. And, it just makes me so sad because, like I said, all my problems with health, and everything, I think just go back completely. They go back to what I went through as a kid. And I just think that's really sad, It shouldn't be that way. And anyways, I often think back as I'm getting older about different situations and I'll think back and I'll be like, God, how did I end up here? Because you guys, nearly all of my family, my sisters, my cousins, my aunts, even my cousins' kids, everyone ended up really, really good. They all worked hard for a living. They all found jobs that paid decent wages, and they did really good. And it's like, I'm the only one that's stuck like this. And then, like, my sister that was on the drugs and the alcohol, she sleeps in her car, and I don't know if she's on drugs and alcohol still. I don't know. But, if it wasn't for the drugs and alcohol, she could get in and, change her life. She'd probably get into a Section 8 place. And just, it'd be better for her than it is now. Because we live in Colorado. It gets really cold here. And I feel so bad for her in a lot of ways. Because I know her life's been unfair too. Even though she had a really good upbringing, really good. But so it's just really sad, you guys, And that's why it's so important when you're young to really come to God and give your whole life to God. Don't play games. Don't mess around. Because you guys, you don't want to get older. Like, I'm almost 50. And like I said, I've been on disability, Section 8, all of that stuff. since I was about 18 years old. And unless there's a tremendous breakthrough in my life, this is just my life now. There won't be unless God pulls some kind of miracle off. This will just be the rest of my whole life. Being in a Section 8 place, being on disability, struggling hard every month just to just barely make ends meet. And you guys, you don't want to end up like that. So if you're younger and you have a chance to change your life, do it. And if you're living with family or friends and they want you to help them do illegal stuff or just to be part of that lifestyle, to go with them, help them find out where whatever they're trying to do, just help them. Forget it, you guys. It's so not worth it. If I could go back to being really young, I would have either went to a homeless shelter and, tried to get on Section 8, and I would have tried to find some kind of job I could handle, or maybe gotten on disability sooner because I had a lot of health issues. But I would have been on my own. I wouldn't have lived with my mom or my aunts because they were so abusive. Even my mom was too, and I would have started going to church early and making friends with other Christians. I would have just changed so much if I could. And when I was younger, I just didn't know what to do. I didn't know that they even had homeless shelters, or if I knew, I didn't really understand it all. And, I would have done so much different stuff like that to get away from it. And that's why I always encourage people, if you're being abused by your mom or your dad, or just in general, you've got an abusive family you're living with, like aunts, cousins, whatever, you guys don't stay there and put up with it. It's so not worth it because it brings you down so bad. And then you get really depressed and even more anxious. Just get out of there. However you have to do it. Even if you have to go to a homeless shelter or get in the foster system, if you're underage, whatever it is, just pray and trust in God and go. Just don't stay with abusive people, you guys. Pray about it. Ask God to show you what to do, because God doesn't want us being abused, and He doesn't want us being mistreated or neglected or just treated in a hateful manner. That's not God's will for this life, you guys. It just really isn't. And we have to know that, and we can't let others get us down. Because in this life, there's a lot of people out trying to get you down. Like my roommate, you guys, we have separate rooms, but I always just call him my roommate. But there's so many times he gets so hateful, just snotty and hateful, And it's nothing new. I've had to put up with that over the years, and when he gets bad enough, I always just say either, snap out of it, go for a walk, do what you have to do, but I'm not putting up with your attitude, of just being constantly hateful. And, I just feel like we're getting close to that again. I know he's under a lot of pressure, and I know he's got a lot of issues going on, but that's no reason to be hateful to other people, and he needs me in the morning to take him way across town. It's probably like an hour away, maybe even longer. And he wants me to take him to get it's an important appointment. I don't want to get into details, but it's really important for him to get over there. And you guys, I had a cold for a few days, and I'm just barely feeling a little better tonight. And I'm not going to take him tomorrow. I'm just not going to, because he was so hateful to me this afternoon. And I'm not like his babysitter. I don't got to put up with it. And this afternoon, I helped him figure out the bus route in order to get over there. You can call the RTD bus information line and they'll tell you which buses you have to take and all that good stuff. And they told him, and he wrote it down. And I gave him their number. I was like, if you get halfway there and you're lost or you're kind of confused, you can just call him again. And I said, I'll try to take you tomorrow, but I said, don't count on it for sure, because I'm just recovering and stuff. But I don't think I'm going to take him, you guys. I just don't think I can put up with him. And I think if he goes on his own, it's better, because that way it'll give him a chance to figure out how to get over there on his own. And then if he has to go back over there later, he'll have it figured out. I just can't, when I'm just recovering and not feeling really great yet, I just can't deal with his stuff, his drama. And there's times he'll be nicer and then times he's not. But I just can't deal with it right now. I need to get well and, have a few days extra to just recover and feel like myself. So I'm not taking him tomorrow. And it's not to be mean. I'm not trying to be mean. I know what I can deal with and what I can handle. And I know when I need to just step back and let him handle stuff on his own. Because that's kind of where we're at. There's going to be plenty of times he's going to have to do stuff on his own. And then once he gets done, he has some other things he's working on finishing up that he needs to do. And when he's done doing these things, I don't know if he's going to stay here or if he's going to want to move. I don't know. Because I think sometimes he just really wants to move. And in a way, I don't blame him. I know that his life isn't really easy here. He hates the cold weather with a passion. He really hates it. And it doesn't bother me. I've lived here most of my life. So I know down the road he may not be living here. And I'm just praying to God to help me figure out what I'll do. I can pay the bills and the rent, but then when I'm done, it just doesn't leave me with a whole lot left over. So I don't know. I'm just going to pray about it and just see what the Lord shows me to do on it. You know, everything's so expensive, you guys. Gas is so expensive, internet, because I have a Amazon Fire Stick, you know, and then you just get the internet, and the internet's so expensive. Even with the discount, there's a discount for low income people, and I'm getting that. Thank God for that. But it still doesn't make it super cheap if you're on a really tight fixed income every month, you know. And it's like, and they give me help with a lot of little things, but it's just not enough, you know, to go far. I'm sorry, you guys, I had to stop and yawn again. So, anyway, keep me in your prayers, you guys. I'm praying for you all every day, and your prayer needs too. And I pray for your friends and family and your pets and everything every day. So